What if the NFL is finally starting to believe in the Tennessee Titans again? Because usually, teams coming off a disappointing season don't suddenly become the focus of one of Netflix's biggest NFL series. But now, Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans are officially entering the national spotlight. Netflix just revealed the quarterbacks selected for Season 3 of Quarterback, and one of those names is Cam Ward, alongside players like Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, and Joe Flacco. And honestly, that says a lot about where the Titans suddenly stand entering 2026. Because for years, Tennessee felt almost invisible nationally. No major spotlight, no real media buzz, no feeling that the NFL truly viewed this franchise as one of the league's important teams. But now, that might finally be changing. And what makes this even more interesting is that Cam Ward will reportedly become the first rookie quarterback ever featured in the series. That matters, because Netflix doesn't just randomly choose quarterbacks. They choose storylines, they choose pressure, they choose franchises people suddenly care about watching. And for the first time in a long time, people are paying attention to the Titans again. That's a massive change for where this organization was not very long ago. Because if we're being honest, the Titans spent years stuck somewhere in the middle. Not bad enough to fully rebuild, not stable enough to seriously compete. The roster constantly changed. The coaching situations constantly changed. The identity constantly changed. And eventually, Tennessee started feeling directionless. Nobody really knew what this franchise was trying to become anymore. But the moment the Titans selected Cam Ward first overall, everything started feeling different. Not because Tennessee suddenly became a Super Bowl contender overnight, had direction. And quarterbacks change everything in the NFL. They change expectations, they change attention, they change how fans see the future. And most importantly, they change how the league talks about your organization. Now obviously, Ward's rookie season wasn't perfect. The Titans struggled badly at times. The offense looked inconsistent. Brian Callahan was fired during the season. And there were moments where the entire year looked completely unstable. But despite all of that, Cam Ward still showed flashes that made people believe. He threw for over 3,100 yards. He showed mobility, confidence, leadership. The NFL runs on narratives. And suddenly, the Titans actually have one. Young quarterback, new leadership, new coaching staff, potential franchise turnaround. That combination creates attention. And honestly, the NFL would probably love for Tennessee to become relevant again. A young quarterback creates ratings. A rebuilding franchise creates emotional investment. A comeback story creates drama. And Netflix understands that better than almost anybody. But now comes the difficult part. Actually proving the hype is real. Because attention disappears very quickly in the NFL when teams stop winning. And now, for the first time in years, people outside the Titans fan base are actually watching Tennessee closely. That changes everything. Now every Cam Ward performance becomes a national discussion. Every mistake gets analyzed harder. Every sign of progress becomes bigger news. That pressure might actually help this franchise. Because meaningful teams are supposed to face expectations. Relevant quarterbacks are supposed to attract cameras. Interesting franchises are supposed to create debate. And for the first time in years, the Titans finally feel interesting again. But what makes this situation even more fascinating is how different Tennessee suddenly looks entering 2026. Brian Callahan is gone. Robert Saleh is now leading the franchise. Brian Daboll is helping develop Cam Ward. The front office added more offensive weapons. Carnell Tate was drafted to improve the receiving core. Wan'Dale Robinson was added as another reliable target. And slowly, the Titans are trying to build actual structure around their young quarterback. That's something this organization desperately needed. Because young quarterbacks rarely succeed without stability. and stability has been one of Tennessee's biggest problems for years. That's why this upcoming season feels so important. Not because the Titans are suddenly championship favorites, but because 2026 might finally reveal whether this franchise truly has a long-term plan. Can Robert Saleh create a real culture? Can Cam Ward become the face of the franchise? Can the Titans finally stop resetting every 2 years? Those are the real questions, and honestly, that's exactly why Netflix chose this story. Because Tennessee suddenly feels unpredictable, relevant, interesting, and potentially important again. But now the Titans have to prove this is more than off-season hype. Because documentaries create attention, but winning creates respect. And until Tennessee proves it can consistently compete, questions will still follow this franchise. Still, for a team that spent years feeling ignored nationally, this moment matters. The NFL is paying attention again. Paying attention again. Fans across the league are paying attention again. And now the real question becomes this: can Cam Ward actually turn all this attention into the beginning of a completely new era for Tennessee? Or will this become another chapter in a franchise still searching for long-term stability? Let me know what you think. Do you believe Cam Ward can become the quarterback that finally changes the Titans' future? And how big could this Netflix spotlight become for Tennessee entering 2026? Subscribe for more Tennessee Titans news, NFL analysis, and franchise breakdowns.